good evening to you. Glad you could join us on News Extra. Our felicitations to our Muslim brothers and sisters as we transverse the length and breadth of the nation tonight with news and interviews done with the extra touch. Tonight, Nigerians take advantage of the season of religious celebrations to advocate for peace and tolerance and recipes for national progress, cohesion and development. While ram and oxen have gone by the dozen, they leave behind hides and skin with huge potentials for kit and kin. We have a special on this. Trenches in the trenches. Military commanders feed troops to boost morale in the front lines. Good luck as some inmates are set free in Kano, while Zamfara has great cause to cheer as 100 kidnapped victims regain their freedom. Also on our lineup, an update on key environmental cleanup exercises and efforts to clear out illicit drug traffickers. It is a full package with updates and human angle stories. So let's sail. I am Fatima Umaruba and this is News Extra. I welcome you. Against the backdrop of incessant cases of kidnapping in Jalingo, Taraba State, Emir of Muri Alhaji Abbas Jidda Tafida has charged people of the state to summon courage and complement efforts of security operatives in tackling the menace. The royal father gave the charge in his message as Muslims in the states commemorated the 2021 Eid al-Kabir. Adamu Haruna Adam tells us more.
Dressed in colorful outfits, Muslim faithful in Jalingo were punctual to the central Eid ground for the Eid al-Adha prayer. As the tradition demands, arrival of the Emir of Muri, Al-Hajj Abbas in Jidda Tafida, heralded commencement of the prayer, which was led by the chief imam of Jalingo, Muhyiddin Muhammad Dinga. Allahu Akbar.
If you are entrusted with responsibility in any circumstance, you have to exercise patience and you have to be just.
Addressing his subjects, Emir of Muri, Abbas Tafida, expressed concerns about the spate of kidnapping and other forms of security challenges in the country. He urged people of Taraba State to defy fear and complement efforts of security operatives. Minister of Power Alhaji Saleh Mamman and Mohammed Bello, an APC stalwart, acknowledged the royal father's call, adding that efforts are being intensified towards addressing the security challenges.
The government is doing everything possible, to calm down this thing. You are a living witness what happens just a few weeks ago. There are a lot of progress, and also Mr. President is on it, and I believe we are going to succeed at the end of the day.
The best approach is, to tell them that we are ready for them. The battle line has already been drawn. They have already crossed the red lines. So we are telling them that enough is enough.
Eid prayer in the state was observed without any report of breach of security. In Jalingo, Adam Haruna Adams, NTA News.
Religious clerics and leaders of thought that featured on NTA's Tuesday Live program this week have admonished Nigerians to make more sacrifices and be committed for the nation to surmount the present challenges. Abakar Usman Akwanga has the report.
The feast of Eid al-Adha demonstrates the virtues, devotion, obedience and sacrifice as exemplified by Prophet Ibrahim and his son Ismail as a symbolic test of faith. These scholars on NTA Current Affairs program Tuesday Live say should redefine the moral foundation for building a secured and economically viable country where truth and love shall be the conduct of human affairs.
Teachings from the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that your righteousness to Allah will amount to nothing if you ill-treat your neighbor. So what Islam expects of a Muslim is to be protective of that neighbor. So why have we descended so low in this country that a neighbor will take up arms against his neighbor and kill him?
You must live in peace with all men, And those men don't have to look like you, and don't have to pray like you, and don't have to talk like you. So if we can come to that in terms with that Hebrews 12:14, as a Christian, I am open, am ready to relate. Are there not Muslims and Christians in our National Assembly? Why are they not fighting?
We have to agree to do what is right. When Mr. President said he has banned Twitter, look at how people were talking. The president of a country, our own president, whoever he is, whether Muslim or not Muslim, whatever kind of person he is, somebody molested him, and we tolerate that. Whether he's from the west or from the east, we should be ready to defend this country, and we should be patriotic. That issue of patriotism has to come back.
Politicization of national issues, ethnic profiling and religious bigotry, stakeholders say, should not be placed above sacrifice for one another and the nation.
Secularism is the affirmation of our differences and nurturing these differences by upholding these differences so that we can blossom together.
Sayyidina Umar said that the next person is either my brother in humanity or my brother in faith. There is no way the next person will not have that to you.
As conversations continue to take center stage, religious tolerance and peaceful coexistence are said to remain the two fashionable tools in achieving national development. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Shehu of Borno, Abubakar Ibn Umar Garba El-Kanemi, has again stressed the need for Nigerians to intensify prayers to end the security challenges. The Shehu reiterated the need for continued prayers when he paid Salah homage on Governor Babagana Umar Zulum at the Government House, Maiduguri. Mohammed Guni reports.
Shehu Abubakar Ibn Umar Garba El-Kanemi noted the improvement in security situation, which has enabled citizens return to their communities and resuscitation of agricultural activities. He lauded Governor Zulum's effort at improving the laws of the citizenry and further appealed for construction of office for Jamaatul Nasrul Islam and expansion of an Islamia school at the vicinity of the Shehu's palace being attended by adults and children. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum, who appreciated the royal father for the Salah visit and his continued support and prayers, assured to look into all the requests made by the Shehu. The governor also made a case for district heads to ensure their presence in their domains to avert dominance and presence of the insurgents in those areas. Meanwhile, management of the Borno State University, led by the Vice Chancellor of the institution, Professor Umar Kyari Sandabe, was in the government house on a Salah visit, where the Vice Chancellor lauded the governor's effort at repositioning the institution to a world-class standard. The governor reiterated commitment to complete the Bosse Medical and Teaching Hospital, urged the management to commence the process of recruitment of staff, while the state government sponsors young graduate assistants in key medical-related fields to ensure smooth take-up of the Medical College and Teaching Hospital. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA.
And the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, celebrated his first Eid al-Kabir feast with frontline troops of Operation Hadinkai, with renewed commitment to repositioning the Nigerian army to succeed in the northeast theater of counterinsurgency operations. Borno State Governor Babagana Umar Zulum also boosted the morale of the troops with his presence at the Salah lunch. Pauline Kujavana has the details.
The Salah feast was simultaneously held in Monguno and Yobe sectors of the Operation Hadinkai, with the Chief of Army Staff attending that of Memalari Barracks, Maiduguri. It has been a tradition of the Chief of Army Staff to host frontline troops to a dinner every festive period to boost their morale and symbolically identify with them for the unwavering commitment in the counter-insurgency operations in the Northeast.
Chief of Army Staff that served me to eat, God will bless Chief of Army Staff.
So if you heal, do you intend to go back to battlefield?
I'm ready to go back, even now if they can lead me to go.
Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, who graced the occasion with his cabinet, National and State Assembly members, pledged government sustained support to ending the insurgency in the state and appreciated the troops with a gift of 10 million naira.
Fundamental issue that we need to promote in order to hasten the defeat of the insurgency is to ensure that the gap between civilian population and the military hierarchy is being reduced.
Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya urged the troops to improve synergy with other security agencies to achieve greater results in the war, as he promised to give necessary support to those wounded in action, while the deceased families will be given adequate care.
The Eid al-Kabir festival therefore provides a unique opportunity for us to reflect and redouble our efforts towards fulfilling our constitutional roles of defeating our adversaries and defending the territorial integrity of Nigeria.
Theater Commander Operation Hadinkai, Major General Christopher Moses and his deputy, Major General I.M. Jalo, acknowledged the first feast hosted by the Chief of Army Staff stood out as morale booster, which will revigorate their spirit to crushing the remnants of the insurgents in the northeast. There was entertainment by various performing artists. In Maiduguri, Paul Nkujevana, NTA News.
Shai Morale will start there. Now, Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum has stressed the need for continued partnership between the Nigerian military and state government on deepening social cohesion and building resilience of resettled communities. The governor made the call when he hosted Chief of Army Staff, Chief of the Air Staff and other high-profile dignitaries to a sala luncheon at the Government House, Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. Mohammed Godi has that.
Governor Bagana Umara, who expressed gratitude to the dignitaries for honoring his invitation, said, as communities are being resettled, there is the need to revert the strategies being applied by the insurgents to draw the population to their side.
The civil relationship is very important. And I'm pleased to report to the Cabinet that since the Chief of Army Staff have resumed the mantle of leadership, the Borno State government and indeed the people of Borno State are receiving tremendous oppression from the Nigerian army.
The governor who noted the continued unity of purpose that exists between the state government and the Nigerian military assured his commitment to sustain the tempo to end the insurgency, and further thank the National and State Assemblies members, as well as the State Executive Council members, Borno Elders Forum, and citizens for their continued support. Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, noted Governor Zulum's continued support to the Nigerian military, including provision of logistics and visit to war zones to boost morale of soldiers. Senator representing Southern Borno Muhammad Alindume, Speaker Borno State Assembly Abdul Karim Lawan, Secretary to the State Government Usman Jiddeshua, Secretary Borno Elders Forum Dr. Bala Amali Gubio, as well as Attorney General and Overseeing Commissioner Minister of Environment Kakasho Lawan, assured support of the body they represent to the Zulum-led administration in the quest to restore peace to the state and improve laws of the citizenry. In Maiduguri, Muhammad Goni, NTA News.
Away from that now, the Charity Nigeria office has slaughtered 70 cows and donated to 7 states in the country to commemorate Prophet Ibrahim's obedience to Allah. Tessie Mary reports that amongst the beneficiaries are orphans and vulnerable members of the society.
The Qatar Charity, a Doha-based non-governmental organization, has been an intermediary between donors and beneficiaries, mostly orphans and vulnerable, since 1992 in the areas of education, health, empowerment, among others. The Udia project of slaughtering cows to feed thousands during festivals is part of Sunnah of the Holy Prophet.
Normally, there are some group of orphans that we are sponsoring. Yeah, orphans. We have some orphanages in Kano, in Sokoto, and some other states. So these orphans, we're going to share these meat to them, and also some vulnerable communities that we normally access. And also, part of our project is sponsoring those needy areas.
70 cows slaughtered to be distributed to orphans and vulnerable in 7 states of the country as part of maiden edition of the Udia project, and will be held annually across the country to both Muslims and non-Muslims.
With the concept of the sharing according to the Quran, you can see that this event is supposed to bring harmony amongst us Nigerians. It's not something that is maybe for a particular tribe, for a particular religion. The sharing, everybody can benefit and should actually benefit from the sharing. It's not for only Muslims.
Beneficiaries smiled home of the benevolence.
we can't kill. So in the sense that they've given all this, we say thank you to them.
I'm very grateful. Jazakumullahu khairan.
For the Qatar charity, uplifting the vulnerable members of the society will make the world a better place. In Abuja, Tessie Omeri, NTA News.
Sure, it would. It is another Salah celebration where millions of animals, especially ram, goats, cows and camels, are slaughtered for the celebration. The hides and skin businesses associated with the festival is at its peak across Nigeria. Musa Baba Aliu from Mina, Niger State capital, tells us more about the business of buying and selling of the animal skin.
There are no statistics of the number of animals slaughtered during the Salah celebration. However, reports indicate that 6 out of every 10 Muslim family slaughtered at least a ram or goat. The animals, especially rams, are skinned to prepare the meat for consumption. This, therefore, makes hides and skin business at its peak during this period. To this end, operators of tanning industry have dispatched middlemen to source and buy skin on their behalf. Here in Mina, Niger State capital, a minimum price for the hides and skin is between 200 to 700 naira. But with the hope that the price at the company will go as higher as 7 to 1,000 naira. I came across this group of middlemen in Boso local government area of Niger State. They told me they came all the way from Katsina State to buy and supply skin for a leather industry in Kano State. Our target is to buy 20,000 pieces of raw skin, but unfortunately, we may not get that quantity this year. As the skin is supplied, they are selected, graded, and treated with salt before transportation to Kano State. Abdullahi Nemina Sarkin Turki is the state chairman hides and skin merchants in Niger State. He decried the drop in the supply of the products this year.
Most of the people cannot be able to, they did not be able to meet up to buy the rams, purposely because of, you can see the food stock is, the life entirely becomes, some people that used to buy and share for others, they have not opportunity to do that. And some people that can be able to slaughter about 3 or 4 or 5, they end up of one. Some people that even slaughter one, they cannot be able to slaughter any. So you can see our place by other years, you cannot be able to have space here to stay. But this year you can see the place is almost empty.
Reports across major cities in the northern parts of the country indicate that the number of animals slaughtered last year was higher than this year. From Mina, Niger State capital, Musa Baba Aliu, NTA News.
And from Mina, we head to Kano, where in the spirit of Eid al-Kabir and in line with President Buhari's directive to decongest custodial homes, Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje has felicitated the release of 136 inmates of Gorondutse Medium Custodial Center. Abdullahi Mustafa has the details.
A dance drama by the Koroso Cultural Troupe of the Gorondutse Medium Custodial Center. This was to give inmates a sense of belonging by allowing them to enjoy the Eid celebration.
Your Excellency, sir, all the inmates in Kano State Command today are happy. Just like many of us who celebrated Salah in our houses are happy today, they are also happy.
Not only providing them with meat and other delicious meals for the celebration, the governor during the visit secured the release of 136 inmates.
We are here in order to ensure that the directive given by Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammad Buhari, we do all what is possible to decongest our prisons.
While some regained freedom on grounds of ill health and good character, others had their debts and fines settled by the governor. An inmate sentenced to death by hanging will now serve life imprisonment. Dr. Ganduje presented 5,000 naira to each of the released inmates to transport themselves back home. They left the confines of the custodial center with assurances of becoming good citizens and contributors to nation building. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Now, decades ago, families neighbors and the likes always converge on their village squares or king's courts to wine and dine during festivities. But this culture is being eroded due to modernization and mutual suspicion. Adebola Brixlin Sunday, who visited a community in Gwagwalada Area Council, reports that it is pleasantly refreshing that the people still practice this way of celebration, just the way their forefathers did. So let's watch.
Eid al-Adha, rated the holiest feast of sacrifice, dates from the historic event when Prophet was commanded by God to sacrifice his son Ismail. As he was about sacrificing Ismail, God sent his angel with a huge ram. In commemorating the festival, I took a trip to Gwagwalada, one of the area councils in the Federal Capital Territory, with an estimated population of 443,000. In their numbers, Muslims in the community trudged towards Kutunku axis of the community, where they all converged on the Eid praying ground for the 2-rakat prayer. After the prayer, the chief imam, supported by the emir, carried out the sacrifice. From the Eid ground, they all moved to the Aguma's palace to pay homage to their king. The Aguma, Mohammed Magaji Akure, said the traditional council is proud of the inhabitants who refuse to be robbed of their culture by modernization.
I appreciate my people of Gwagwalada for the good support they are giving me always. I know that they have love on me, that's why they are always with me.
Some members of the traditional council called on the people to remain peaceful in their conduct with others and to always observe the non-pharmaceutical protocol of COVID-19.
I have the chief of Yoruba, even Igbo. He talks to them always to tell their people if there is any suspicious movement in the environment, in their environs, they should as well report to the emir.
This pandemic that is around the town everywhere, place, we should make sure that all the time the face mask is with us to prevent any occurrence.
Obedience to constituted authorities is one of the lessons learned from the reason for the celebration.
Voluntarily, because of the love and the passion he has for God. That is why he decided to sacrifice it also.
Obedience to constitutional authority, the security architecture of the country must be respected at every level.
Before leaving the palace, I engaged a piper who told me that he is the strength of hunters when they are weak.
Anyway, I see them, they don't tire like this. I will carry my food so that I'll blow.
Eid al-Adha enjoys special significance because the day of sacrifice marks the climax of pilgrimage to Mecca and Medina in Saudi Arabia, which is the 5th pillar of Islam. Adebola Brixlin Sunday, NTA News.
There is a scriptural quote which says, "Love your neighbor as yourself." But the question is, how much love do you show your neighbors, even during festivities? How much effect does festivities have in boosting national unity through good neighborliness? Well, let's hear from Oyemi Ajayi.
Periods bring people far and wide together to celebrate amongst themselves. Traditional, even faith-based celebrations are not left out with radiant and glamorous appearances of guests and celebrants. But how much do these festivities extol good neighborliness and national unity? Dr. Rajab Naibi, to him, he prioritizes festivities, especially Salah celebration, as opportunity to share and enjoy the moment with friends and neighbors, irrespective of tribe, status, faith, amongst others. This was evident during my time at his house, with people coming in not just to greet him, but also to appreciate the hand of love extended as they share Salah delicacies. Aside these, some young people were seen with food baskets going out to share some of these delicacies as well.
The distance of your neighbor does not matter to you. You must extend your hand of friendship and sadaqah to him. Friendship and adha. If he is less privileged, you visit him and give him whatever God has provided you with. So to be able to belong, to have a sense of belonging, to feel very happy. Because it means that this person that is bringing this to them have them in mind.
Just like Dr. Rajab, Ambassador Daula Danladi, a diplomat, believes that festivities are when everyone comes together as one and not necessary for a show of wealth, but also to empathize with the less privileged around them.
It eliminates the issue of suspicion in social relations with different faiths. When you extend visits, when you extend your own festival to incorporate others.
In cementing the relationship Broadway. Because religion is embodied in culture. So basically it's bringing in people together to worship and of course celebrate. So this is kind of bring us together.
Many believe that good neighborliness is an atom of national unity and peaceful coexistence, which Nigerians can explore for a greater country. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
And we have more on celebrations, though a different color, as the Armed Forces Command and Staff College Jaji organized series of activities to graduate senior course 43 participants after 1 year of intensive leadership and professional competence training. Suleiman Abdullahi Rugachkun brings to you more on the ceremonies.
Decades-old tri-service military institution in Jaji of Kaduna State, discipline, order and adherence to long-standing tradition define all its activities. Towards achieving mandate of training operational level armed forces officers, the college has for decades done that, including students of senior course 43. Former Chief of Defense Staff Air Chief Marshal Oluseyin Peturin set the stage with graduation lecture on expectations ahead. The topic of the lecture is how to make the best of a military career in an ever-changing security environment.
When we say joint operations in the military sense, it means only one thing. It cannot mean two things, because it means something specific.
Commandant of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College Jaji, Air Vice Marshal Ebenezer Alade, tasked the students to put to good use recommendations by former Chief of Defense Staff Air Chief Marshal Oluseyin Peturin.
I just thank God that he has been able to share a little of his experience with you. And I want you to go with that as you go back to the field.
Regimental dinner held in their honor under relaxed atmosphere. Guest of honor, Chief of Defense Staff General Loki Irabo, counseled the officers on the task ahead as presentations made.
As you leave this training institution and you go back to your various formations and units, you will, of course, come across new platforms, new capabilities that we have acquired that you must very quickly get adapted to.
It is a tradition spouse of a service member is active participant of military family, hence a special night to celebrate. This engagement was reactivated by Armed Forces Command and Staff College Officers' Wives Association Coordinator and wife of the Commandant Oluwashola Afolaki Alade as the special guest of honor, his wife of previous Commandant Air Vice Marshal Emmanuel Eje. Pet Talk dwell on spouses to be source of encouragement for officers in the face of new assigned responsibilities.
Being very careful with the type of friends you keep. Always have confidence in your spouse. Being a military spouse is not easy at all.
Enough. If you give him all the support and he's able to excel, the reward is more for you. I tell you. Because, like they always tell us, our wives are a rank higher than us.
Events climaxed with graduation ceremony under special guest of honor, President Muhammadu Buhari, represented by Minister of Defense Major General Salihi Magashi.
We must all join hands and play our parts in order to take our great country, Nigeria, to its rightful place of peace and prosperity.
Because you have just completed as a keep due to cope with most challenges you are likely to face. Having been found worthy, I congratulate you all.
Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachkun, NTA News.
I'll say congratulations to them all. Let's take a short break now. When we return, 100 kidnapped victims regain freedom in Zamfara. We have a conversation on this development. There is also an in-depth look at the use of modern technology to fight criminality. We'll be right back.
I need help, so please go to the market and get me everything I need to cook this food. Get my pepper and get my onions. I'm waiting. Do you know how to buy pepper? Do you know how to buy sachet? You won't even let my mother come and stay. I need help. You don't know how stressful it is taking care of these 3 kids. Are you still there? If you're not getting me fresh meat, do you understand?
Okay, I'm at the
Can
meat.
you switch to video call, please? Okay, give me that one. The one by your side.
Babe, please.
Where do I buy all these things now? Hey, go get Glow Berekete and call madam.
The heavyweight voice and data plan. Get 600 naira free credit plus 700% bonus on every recharge and up to 100% bonus on data plans.
I dey look for pension fund administrator. We soft, make sense, we care for me. Shy. No be the type when story go enter the matter when it's time to deliver. Oh no, 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 no. The brand is sure them no go stress you. Call them then they accessible. Yes, customer care where they on point. No go regret when you try, of course. Profitable investment. Everything is just a blend. If you know what's good for you, my guy, make you choose premium pension today. Make that switch to premium pension. Premium pension. Make that switch to premium pension.
Join over 700,000 satisfied members and enjoy the premium experience at our offices across the 36 states in Nigeria, including the FCT. Call 094615-700-704 to make the switch today. Premium pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
Take this, Mom. You will need it. My tongue is craving something. What it is. That's my favorite.
Twisco chocolate drink powder is a unique blend of cocoa, milk, and malt fortified with Enofort, a special blend of vitamins and minerals that helps give kids the vitality they need for an action-packed day.
Mommy, let's bring home a ball.
Twisco, power your dream.
Akapa, what's your job?
I help people grow all kinds of things. I help people keep and grow their money, so later they come back when it's bigger for themselves.
Akapa, you're a magician!
Just like a pilot, I help people move from where they are to where they want to be.
Thank you, Akapa.
ARN, invested in your tomorrow.
We are StarTimes, the most affordable digital pay TV platform with the widest signal coverage in Nigeria, dedicated to bringing the best TV entertainment around the world to your screen. From Hollywood to Bollywood to Nollywood, we offer the most affordable subscription. Enjoy over 75 channels for as low as 1,700 naira, like Nat Geo Wild, BBC, ESPN, and premium sport like Emirates FA Cup, La Liga, Bundesliga, wrestling. What's more exciting? We have the most flexible payment options in Nigeria. Don't dull. Join us now for an exciting journey. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.
Ovaltine, 3-in-1. It has great taste.
Big day ahead.
Yummy, yummy, full of nourishment and vitality. Tea bodies and shop minds. Ovaltine, 3-in-1. 3-in-1. Ovaltine, 3-in-1.
New Ovaltine 3-in-1. Smart choice for smart kids.
Good to have you back on News Extra. It might well be seen as a befitting Salah blessing as the Zamfara State Police Command, in collaboration with the State Ministry for Security and Home Affairs, secured the release of 100 kidnapped victims in Maru local government area of the state. The victims, mostly nursing mothers and children, were said to have been released unconditionally by their abductors. Jamilu Ibrahim has more on that.
The 100 kidnapped victims, mostly nursing mothers and children, hailed from Mana village in Maru local government area of Zamfara state and had been in captivity for more than 40 days. Their release was secured by the Zamfara State Police Command in collaboration with the State Ministry for Security and Home Affairs, following a dialogue with the kidnappers.
Since the abduction of these 400 villagers, the Police Command and the Ministry for Security did not rest until we ensure that they are rescued.
Zamfara State government says the unconditional release of the victims is a clear manifestation of the fact that the peace deal remains tenable.
We always believe in it, but where the recalcitrant bandits are still on, we are going to use the stick, and we are ready to use the stick, and we have been using the stick, and it has been yielding equally very fruitful and useful results.
The released victims still look traumatized, as some of them said their horrible experience is better imagined than told, but expressed gratitude to the Almighty Allah for regaining their freedom. 20 of the released captives could not, however, make it to the press briefing, as they are said to be currently on admission in a hospital. The police said all the victims will undergo medical checkup and be debriefed before reuniting them with their respective families. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
A very cheering one from Zamfara. Now joining me in the studio to discuss more on the issues raised on the rescue of kidnapped victims is a security risk management expert. He is Dr. Kabir Adamu. Dr. Kabir Adamu, it's good to have you on News Extra tonight.
Pleasure is mine. Good evening.
A cheering news, right? You've just seen the report from Zamfara there.
A double-edged sword. On the one hand, we're happy that the women have been relieved, but then on the other hand, the fact that they stayed 40 days in the hands of these bandits, and the fact that what the kind of impunity that the bandits were able to abduct them with makes us very worried.
Well, with this release now, Doctor, and the Zamfara state government saying no ransom was paid, does this suggest that the non-kinetic approach is being put to use?
So Zamfara State is pursuing a very unique approach where it says it's doing the carrot and stick approach. And in this instance, it's the carrot approach that appeared to have worked. But the question is, they have said that no ransom was paid. Now, are they referring to financial ransom? Is it possible that they did promise the bandits something in return before the bandits released these 100 women and children? Now, if that is the case, I think the onus is on the Zamfara state to be transparent, to tell the world what they promised these bandits before they release these 100 persons. Now, I'm worried that we don't either wittingly or unwittingly incentivize banditry and criminality. If we go about promising whether it's money or something else, then we are likely to either wittingly or unwittingly incentivize banditry and criminality.
Okay, now from what we have seen and what you've said, should we expect freedom soon for others still in captivity there?
If the approach continues, like they've mentioned to us, it's the double kind of approach where they use carrot and stick, and then hopefully we expect to see more releases. But then I am of the opinion that the federal government should step in and provide a framework for that type of dialogue, for the simple reason that the federal government, especially the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, has a better understanding of the processes of reconciliation, dialoguing, and especially the ones that worries me is to ensure that the weapons of these criminals are collected from them.
When you say dialogue, what do you mean? Meeting them and talking with them, or what do you mean?
So there are certain conditions that must be reached before you dialogue. It has to be from an advantage point of view. If the criminal is feeling stronger, like in this instance, he goes in, he abducts your citizens, then you engage him for dialogue. He has advantages. But so we need to reverse the case where we have the advantage, and then they're the ones asking for the dialogue. And that is why the carrot and stick is important. But then that's the framework that we ensure we don't incentivize banditry, I think is absolutely important. And the federal government, I think, has more capacity for that type of approach than state governments.
Okay, I'll take you back a bit. Recently, the Kebbi State Governor, Atiku Bagudu, recently quoted as saying, President Buhari has directed the Northwest governors to do more to end banditry. Do you see this as a push for the state's chief executives?
Absolutely so. Most of the forests that we're talking about straddle states. So one forest could run across 3 to 5 states. Now, no matter how important the approach of a governor is, if he doesn't have the cooperation of his neighboring states, then that effort would not come to fruition. And so regional cooperation between the governors is absolutely important. Number two, it's very necessary that they come up with novel approaches to dominate those forests. Those forests belong to the states, not to the federal government. So they are the ones that should start the initiative. The argument would be that the armed security departments belong to the federal government currently. So the state government needs the support of the federal government to dominate them. But then I know that there are loans available at bilateral and multilateral platforms to be collected by these states to ensure that they introduce measures to make those forest economic assets, as it were, for the state, especially for states that don't have a lot of revenue. And Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, Kebbi, Niger, Kaduna fall into that category. They can transform those forests into economic reserves that will be of benefit to them and, of course, to their citizens through efforts with multilateral partners and sometimes with even development as well as humanitarian organizations that are already in their states.
Okay, so as a security risk manager that you are, what should the governors do in terms of collaboration to bring, at least or reduce the insecurity in the zone, even though you've mentioned some? So can you just give us key things that he can do?
Number one is to dominate those forests. Anything we do, as long as we don't dominate those forests, we're allowing space for these bad guys to use. But once we dominate it, I mean, think about it. They abduct 100 kids. Where are they going to take them to? As long as we... So that's number one. Number two, they need to collaborate with the federal government to take control of the small arms and light weapons that are in circulation. Most of the activities that are happening are being done with these small arms and light weapons. Number three, the drug proliferation. A lot of these bandits do take drugs and all that. And then lastly, poverty, as well as the economic deprivation that is affecting these regions. I think there is a need for the governors to enhance effort in addressing, especially among the youth. The members of these criminal gangs are mostly youths, and part of the reason why they join these groups is because they don't have anything to do. So once you address poverty, unemployment, illiteracy, you would reduce the ability of these groups to recruit and have membership.
All right, Doctor, but lastly, before I let you go, do you have anything to say to Nigerians out there watching on security?
Barka de Sallah, and to have hope and continue to support the government in its effort to address the security challenges in the country.
All right, thank you so much for being a part of News Extra tonight and for your insights and contributions on this on the news tonight.
Thank you for
a security risk management expert there, Dr. Kabir Adamu. Moving on, emerging technologies are said to be coming handy in crime prevention, fighting and law enforcement. This is availing operatives with new perspective and considerations in tackling security challenges. Security correspondent Francis Form takes a look at how the use of technology by security operatives has assisted in the ongoing fight against terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, armed robbery and other crimes.
This is a technology-driven center. It is real-time as live feeds are processed through the body and inbuilt mobile cameras installed on patrol vehicles linked to the control room for necessary action. These types of innovations have improved efficiency and effectiveness in the delivery of police services, driving reforms in crime prevention and crime control strategies.
So technology is doing a lot for the society in the advancement of the fight against crimes and criminality. Apart from improving your service pride as a police officer, it also improves your safety.
Different security apps, artificial intelligence, drones and other high-tech surveillance equipment now feature in warfare.
Somebody stays in a station, the pilots fly the drones, and everything is being seen in real life. So if there are issues, those who are on standby can be set in to go there and perform the job. Or another drone that is weaponized is sent to send signal or warn those who are there. So you do much within a very short period of time.
This application is in 3 segments. 1, reporting, which is your own phone. You download the application on the phone, and in case of any incident, you just click. And in 5 seconds, it will get to command and control center of the police.
If you apply sensor, maybe we say like 5 kilometers, where I can be able to sense either a moving object, humans, or maybe specialized arms and ammunition that are in transit or being stocked somewhere.
Mapping technologies and data mapping applications are also assisting security operatives in criminal intelligence, crime analysis, emergency response, and policing. This is a typical day in the National Command and Control Center. Technology also made it easy for the police to set up the Crime and Incident Database Center, making it easier to capture demographic biometric of criminal suspects and all persons of interest.
We want to stop the kind of scenario we had in the past where a criminal or a suspect who has committed an offense in Sokoto with the name Farouk Abdullahi will travel or relocate to Abuja and then changes his identity.
Just as incidents are reported without visiting the police station, the 36 State Police Commands and the FCT are now linked via a technology-driven center that also monitors activities of criminals on social media handles for necessary action.
It is time for us to start moving away from pure physical deployment of human beings and absorb and adopt the use of technology. It is high time.
For a world overwhelmed and interconnected by information, experts say technologies are necessary for crime prevention, crime fighting, and prosecution. Franks is from NTA News.
Senator representing Adamawa North Senatorial District, Elisha Abu, has appealed to the Nigerian Army for the re-establishment of a military brigade in Mubi, Adamawa State. The senator, who made the appeal while on a working visit to the Nigerian Army headquarters, hinged his demand on the incessant attacks witnessed across some local government areas in the state.
To see how we can partner together in this fight against Boko Haram insurgency. Particularly, I made a request to the Chief of Army Staff to establish a full brigade comprised of over 1,500 soldiers and officers and men. The Chief of Army Staff actually promised to look into this particular request because it is in the interest of Nigeria.
He knows that there is need to restore strong military presence in Adamawa State as the area has witnessed an increase in terrorist attacks since a brigade based in Mubi was decommissioned in 1996. Nigerian motorists have been charged to adhere to all traffic signs situated at different points of the road in order to avoid road traffic crashes. This is coming due to the incessant flaunting of road signs leading to crashes in the highways. In the special report, Oyeme Ajayi finds out how much people know about road signs as well as efforts traffic agencies are putting up to curb these excesses.
Can this be said to be done out of ignorance of road signs of these drivers, or could it be simply done out of the driver's hastiness? Many a times, these sights are seen at different points in time, and sadly, some end in accidents. To make the road free from accidents and gridlocks, different road traffic signs are erected on or by the roads, including traffic lights, to allow easy flow of movement. But many still defy these, especially when there are no personnel to monitor. For instance, the idea of traffic lights is to allow for easy flow of human and vehicular movements, but many still defy the warning signs. Unfortunately, the recklessness of these drivers have also led to untimely death of traffic control agents and sometimes innocent pedestrians.
We try to neglect some of these very simple things.
Most of the accidents that are happening in the city, you realize that it's because of the way at which people are crossing the junctions or beating the traffic light.
How much do Nigerian drivers know about road signs and markings, especially what zebra crossing stands for?
I don't understand about zebras passing time. I don't know.
Many have questioned if there are penalties for offenders, and if there are, what are the fines?
Sometimes you are asked to make that payment. Sometimes you are prosecuted by a magistrate, probably in a mobile court. And if you road sign or traffic light signs violation, if you violate it here in Abuja, after payment, you are still sent to hospitals for psychological and evaluation.
It has become imperative for road users and pedestrians to get used to the various signs and markings on roads and highways in order to ensure an accident-free driving experience on Nigerian roads. Many have also condemned the reactionary measure of arresting traffic offenders by road traffic management agencies instead of preventive measures, which some said had led to crashes as well.
What is even more important is the moral obligation that we have as motorists to ensure that we follow the traffic rules, whether or not the officers are there.
While cautioning against road traffic offences, they emphasized that responsible motorists also have the right to apprehend offenders and report them to road traffic managers for proper punishment. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Following satisfactory performance of road safety personnel deployed for the ongoing Salah Special Patrol, the Corps Marshal Oyeyemi is urging the operatives to sustain the operational tempo while seeking more cooperation from the motoring public for greater performance. The Corps Marshal, who expressed satisfaction with the general conduct, commitment and professionalism exhibited by the personnel at the front line of the operation, noted that the successes achieved were made possible through the cooperation of all categories of road users, and therefore appealed to them to continue cooperating with operatives of the Corps for safer roads even beyond the holidays. Let's take another breather in our next package, meals and deals on social media. The story of an entrepreneur with local cuisines and a more that local connect. Plus, women in agriculture tilling the lands with the media's touch, the woman's touch. Stay with us.
Oga Greg, you want to buy cough medicine again? Why haven't you gone for a test like I advised?
Test? So that the hospital people say I have COVID-19? No.
How about Oga Greg? Not all coughs mean you have COVID-19. COVID-19 cough and symptoms are different from other illnesses like tuberculosis.
Solomon, why don't you ever stay at your post? Why?
This your cough. You need to check Amo. When I had a bad cough, Madam told me to go for tuberculosis test. After the cough syrups didn't work, they discovered I had tuberculosis. After the free test, I was even treated for free. Now I'm fine.
Solomon is right. Oga Greg, take Amo. Make you dey sure. Because who no go, no go no.
Check that cough for tuberculosis.
If your cough is more than 2 weeks, it could be tuberculosis. TB test and TB treatment are free. Just call the National TB Hotline on 3340 for information on where to get the test. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Health with support from the American people.
Big day ahead.
Yummy, yummy, full of nourishment and vitality. Bodies and shop, soya, Ovaltine 3 in
New Ovaltine 3-in-1. Smart choice for smart kids.
Like a bird needs wings to fly, you need skills to be productive. No matter the level of your education, ITF can train you to acquire skills in areas like mechatronics, metal machining, facility technology, electronics and computer networking, information and communication technology, ICT, culinary art, and agriculture. Acquire a skill and transform yourself from being unemployed to becoming even an employer. Be a valuable Nigerian youth. Say no to unemployment and poverty.
It's time.
Industrial Training Fund, developing the nation's human resource.
GoTV Biggie Goals promo don't land. Better digging levels, better grooves, no hard at all on top GoTV. Make you not miss this a woof as GoTV price don't go down low for inside Biggie Goals promo. Now you fit get GoTV decoder, GoTenna with 1 month max subscription will be 9,500 naira before for 6,900 naira now. See discount. Make yourself enjoy football for inside your house. Cross your leg, watch BB Niger drama and shows for Africa Magic and international series them. Biggie Goals promo now for you. Better discount. Go get your own now for only 6,900 naira to enjoy max levels for GoTV. This offer no go to tell. GoTV. Love it.
Thanks so much for staying. Some years ago, her mother was involved in an accident that confined her to a wheelchair for a while, and she had to devise a means to sustain the home and at the same time cater to the needs of the ailing mom. This started a revolution that will turn her life around, perhaps forever, leveraging on technology. Leah Katimbabatunde spoke with Ovayoza Yusuf on the true Nigerian spirit of excellence in the midst of challenges.
Circumstances either make Omar an individual. 27-year-old Ovayoza Yusuf ventured into the business world when life happened to her, and with the support of her mother tried her hands first on foods.
With food, you can't go wrong. So I started by selling food stuff to make sure I cater for them. She was on wheelchair for years. She was on wheelchair for years. She had an accident that affected her spinal cord. We are just two. So seeing all of that, I had to just buckle up and start hustling, sell pure water, sell food stuff and all. And then until she brought the idea of me buying red oil to stop.
She tells me that with a careful look at the society around her, she was able to diversify using the social media as a platform. The ICT sector became the driver of growth in 2020 that eventually saw to Nigeria's quick exit from recession, and in the first quarter of 2021 recorded a nominal growth of 12.25% year-on-year. Ovayoza is one of the many Nigerians who leveraged on the internet when the country went into total lockdown due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Facebook actually made me, because ordinarily from outside, I am not this person that can go to people and tell them that this is what I want to do. Can you join? No. I decided to utilize my Facebook by growing my wall, building my wall. I built my wall. The moment I got the audience I needed, I began to push my business.
Latest statistics put Nigeria's unemployment numbers at 23.2 million. She says she's given back to the society by building skills at no cost with a broader goal of reducing unemployment. In Abuja, Leah Katimbabatunde, NTA News.
For the past 40 years, Mambila hydroelectric project has been a song on the lips of many Nigerians who are yearning for improved power supply, with questions like, when will the project be a reality? Joshua Jito, who has been monitoring development on the project, brings us an update.
Mambila hydroelectric project, Nigeria's biggest proposed power infrastructure, on the drawing board for more than 40 years. with initial capacity to generate 3,050 megawatts of electricity to be added on the national grid. However, hope rises for the project under the present administration, with agreement signed with the Taraba state government for the acquisition of land, survey and demarcation completed, while the federal government team engages China for funding of the project.
We have been able to rescope the project. We are waiting for formal approval to go ahead, communicate this formally to the various stakeholders of the project. Beyond the Chinese, we have a lot of other interest groups all over coming so that we can get to reach financial close with them.
With 85% funding expected from the China Export and Import Bank, the project has been redesigned to generate 1,500 megawatts as against the initial capacity of 3,050 megawatts in order to attract adequate funding from the lenders.
Mambila project, as I always said, first and foremost, it has been rescoped. Any moment from now, we're waiting for Mr. President approval. Have submitted our proposal, and he has given to NSIA to review, and also to scope, because they want to provide the local content, the money to start the project.
Here in the National Assembly, we are ready and willing to support the executive arm of government in this infrastructure projects that will enhance the welfare and impact positively on Nigerians.
Expectations are high among the host communities as they eagerly await mobilization of contractors to site for the decades-long project to be a reality.
We, the host community, should be carried along.
Sardauna and Kurmi local government councils of Taraba State are the catchment areas for the project, expected to boost the nation's power supply. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Thank you so much, Joshua. Now we head to Port Harcourt, where a 1,000-bed space hostel at the permanent site of the University of Uyo, Uni-Uyo, is to be completed and commissioned in the next 2 weeks. Interim Administrator NDDC Efyong Akwa gave the assurance while inspecting the final phase of the hostel project. Osinachi Abraham has the report.
The project is to assist University of Uyo to accommodate more students in line with the new normal of social distancing, thereby avoiding community transmission of COVID-19. The hostel, designed to meet world best practices, is said to be the first in the country. Efyong Akwa and his host, Vice Chancellor, University of Uyo, Professor Nyeodo Ndeyo, thanked President Muhammadu Buhari for directing the immediate completion of the project that was abandoned 15 years ago.
This is a fantastic project. This is also going to help the university to manage and the whole country to manage the COVID-19 pandemic, because by the time we withdraw, the spaces are so many, we have ample spaces. It is going to be a unique hostel first in the country.
Looking at the facilities on ground, what will be brought in here, there's no doubt of the fact that we'll produce many first class and 2-1. Because when you have comfort in the hostel, sleep with your 2 eyes closed, have way to exercise and all that, you'll be a total student.
The model hostel has a 500-bed space for male and another 500-bed space for female, with state-of-the-art facilities. According to the project engineer, the facility has a lifespan of over 50 years. From Uyo, Osinachi Abraham, NTA News.
The Minister of Aviation says the establishment process for the new private sector-led national carrier is still on course, with third quarter of the year 2022 as the target date for commencement of operations. The report.
The Legacy Awareness and Campaign Group, in a statement by its national coordinators, Saliu Mohammed Lukman, Director General, APC Governors Forum, and Ismail Ahmed, National Youth Leader, APC Caretaker Committee, recognized major highlights of the Buhari administration in the aviation sector, with the aim of transforming it in terms of safety, infrastructure, and economic viability. The APC Group said successes in the sector include include the processes to establish a national carrier, development of agro-allied cargo terminals, concessioning of the major international airports, establishment of maintenance, repair and overhaul center, establishment of an aviation leasing company, development of aerotropolis, establishment of an aerospace university, designation of 4 international airports as special economic zones, upgrade of Accident Investigation Bureau and the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology. The APC Legacy Awareness Group said to mitigate the negative impact of coronavirus pandemic on the aviation sector, the federal government in 2020 released the sum of 5 billion naira in bailout funds, which was shared amongst airlines, ground handling companies, travel agencies, flight catering services operators, and other stakeholders. The group acknowledged that, like in the roads, rail, and ports, Nigeria's aviation industry is undergoing a revolution in terms of unprecedented investments in infrastructure and capacity building under the watch of President Buhari.
In the wake of the climate pandemic, any effort to restore lost flora and fauna of the ecosystem is often received with great relief. The degree of environmental pollution in Nigeria's Niger Delta region, many say, is a litmus test for the capacity of government to provide this relief to the people. And if the successes recorded by the present administration in Ogoniland are anything to go by, then on a Fine Face reports, hope is on the horizon for the remediation and restoration of all hydrocarbon polluted areas in the country. Onenge, please break it down.
Decades of oil exploration in the Niger Delta resulted in hydrocarbon pollution of several communities in the region. In 2011, the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, released its Environmental Impact Assessment Report on Ogoniland. The report indicated massive hydrocarbon pollution and contamination of soil and groundwater that would take 30 years to clean up. Not much was done to remedy the situation until June 2016, when the present administration officially flagged off the cleanup exercise in Bodo, Gokana local government area of Rivers State.
Cleanup of this land will require change on the part of all those who deal with the Niger Delta environment, particularly the oil companies and our communities. The tempo of activities for this assignment increased when my cabinet was constituted.
This was followed by the rejuvenation of the implementing agency, the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, HYPREP, with a governing council, board of trustees, and a project coordination office. With the mandate to clean up polluted sites, stop further pollution, provide clean water, livelihood support, and health assessment of affected communities, HYPREP swung into action. In only a few years, HYPREP recorded major milestones in the cleanup. 17 sites have so far been restored, certified, and handed over to the federal government and affected communities. Contracts for additional 36 sites have been awarded for remediation and groundwater assessment, out of which 9 sites have been remediated, while the water assessment has been completed.
At its meeting held on 3rd March 2021, the Federal Executive Council approved the award of contracts for 6 water supply schemes at the total cost of about 6 billion naira to facilitate the provision of potable water to the impacted communities in Ogoniland.
And we're planning to roll out 8 more projects on water, and that will cover a very essential part, a large part of Ogoni communities.
The project is not so much just cleaning up, but also about restoring the livelihood of the people of that area that have been without good drinking water, without good soil for agriculture.
Plans are underway to carry out mangrove restoration projects to clean 1,000 hectares of polluted mangrove in Ogoniland in 3 phases. Onengiye Fine Face, NTA News.
If hitherto you were one of those who held the view that farming is more of a man's thing, then erase it fast, as more women are taking the farming activities. Let's go to Plateau State, where Saadat Mohammed Kafa has a special report.
In days, farming was purely for human consumption with local tools. However, farming became a business with the introduction of modern techniques for higher yield, attracted more women into agriculture. In Plateau State, even the working class are not exempted, as many of them engaged in farming. With government drive towards creating food sufficiency, women in Plateau State have no doubt taken the bull by the horn by venturing into small and large-scale farming for business purpose as well as consumption. The acquisition of large portion of land for farming by some women in Plateau State is a step further to achieving food revolution in the country.
Before women, they go farm on only men, but now, because of the wahala, everybody don't enter farming.
Personally, I joined farming as a passion, and I discovered that it was supportive to my family, and I continued.
If you go market now, things they cost for market. Now I say make I enter farm with my fellow women so that we go manage our lives more, reduce some expenses.
Many of these women are into small and large-scale farming with specific interest in the cultivation of crops such as Irish potato, cereals and other staples to promote food sufficiency.
When you go into farming, you find out that the market is there for the produce and things like that. So that is why I think a lot of people now are trying to go into farming. We all know that now with the economic crunch and the COVID, people must eat.
They, however, called for early release of farm inputs to boost agricultural activities. In Jos, Saadat Mohammed Kafa, NTA News.
Strong women with the Midas touch. You're watching News Extra on the NTA. In the next segment, local language is not aging well as educationists harp on preserving our local dialects. Plus, issuing a red card for illicit drug traffickers, the push and the pull. Please stay.
That's all we have on today's edition of the Trophy Live Trivia. But before I go, I just want to say this. Keep your energy up. Don't be so hard on yourself. You dey walk now, guy. You dey also go. You deserve a trophy with your fellow honorables. Anything you do that gives you the kick is worth recognition. Just look at yourself in the mirror and say, wow. Now honorable I be you. And even when we are feeling so stressed up, we can ginger each other up and share some good bottles of Trophy Lager. Because anyhow we be, when honorables gather, we share, we dream, and we win together. My name is still Files, aka Files the bad guy. Honorable was Bayi.
The future belongs to those who leverage on digital innovations. Digital PS International presents DigiTest Online 2021, an online summer camp that brings ages 8 to 18 together across Nigeria, Canada, US, and more countries. Theme: Digital Skills, Pathway to Prosperity. Date: 8 to 16 August 2021. At DigiTest, kids and teens will unearth their potential to create digital products with possibilities of making profits online. Participation would be virtual with few physical non-residential at the DigiTest Center, Abuja, and we all enjoy a level playing field to compete with students across the globe. Lots of prizes to be won. Give your kids an opportunity of a lifetime today for only 5,000 Naira for virtual and 20,000 Naira for physical. To register, visit our website at www.digitalpeers.org/digitestonline2021 or call 08077823307 or 08077823308.
Dear compatriots, our country can be as great as we want.
Let us all commit ourselves to its greatness.
We must be willing to set aside our differences, unite and stay as one.
In our expansive landmass, human and material resources,
and plurality lies our strength.
Let our challenges lead us to rediscover our common ground, and together, let's find solutions.
This will take some time, so it requires patience, tolerance, and forgiveness from every one of us.
Let all hands come on deck to protect and transform our country.
Let us unite and see each other not as adversaries, but as brothers and sisters.
Together, we can build a better Nigeria for ourselves and for the next generations.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA, with support from Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
Great to have you back. Sequel to the resurgence of violence in some communities in Plateau State, the State Interreligious Council has called on religious and traditional leaders to fish out bad elements perpetrating evil in the state. This was at an emergency meeting in Jos. Indeyang and Yabagyang reports.
The emergency meeting was summoned to discuss possible ways of restoring lasting peace to communities in the state. Participants described as unfortunate the destruction of farmlands, livestock, and wanton killings. As a result, they called all security operatives to make frantic efforts to identify the suspects and disarm them for sustainable peace.
We are calling on this council to intervene by way of adopting the normal, non-kinetic approach in sensitizing the people and drawing their attention on the need to observe all the normal protocols that involve both in crop farming as well as pastoralism. We must be realistic. We must be open and honest to one another.
Government, religious leaders, and our security outfits and communities must rise up to checkmate the devastating situation.
The council says, henceforth, security, community, and traditional leaders will be held responsible by government for any destruction of lives and property in their communities. In Jos, Indeyang and Yabagyang, NTA News.
It was just yesterday that President Muhammadu Buhari hosted core members serving in his hometown, Daura. He was full of praises for the scheme and how critical it is for national development. To take this further, Nigerians are told to focus more on what unites the nation than what divides it to sustain peace and unity. This was the submission of concerned citizens as they relived experiences of their service years and relationship with host communities under the National Youth Service Corps scheme. Uchechukwu Chubueze Ida tells us more.
Youth, described as the strength of every nation, are said to be major stakeholders in the Nigerian project. No wonder the National Youth Service Corps scheme was established in 1973 by the Yakubu Gowon administration to equip them for nation building. People's consciousness are once again reawakened by those who are concerned to the purpose of establishing the scheme, which are to foster unity, brotherliness among ethnic groups, and to facilitate national growth. To realize this, especially now that it is mostly needed, both serving and ex-corps members are advised to bring their experiences to bear and at least speak good of the land that hosted them if they ever received any act of hospitality from there.
Remember when I was in camp, I met many people. I met there. Some people are from North, some people are from different parts of this country. Without NYSC, I wouldn't have met those guys.
I served as far back as 1991 at Kaduna State. So it was a wonderful experience, but that was the first time I traveled from east to the north.
I felt before coming for NYSC that, wow, why should it be Bonny State? But when I came, it was a whole lot of, it was just good for me.
Stakeholders advise for authorities to post corps members to the rural areas and not just allow them settle in the cities. Also, host communities are expected to be accommodative and hospitable for proper integration.
The integration should really be at the village level. So most posting should be to the rural area.
Perceptions from my friends and my parents that they do certain things in their body, like eating people and other ills, but I was open-minded about the whole thing, and then I wanted to see for myself if if that's true. And so far since I've been here, it's been absolutely otherwise. People have been warm, it's been good. Before you believe people and what they say, you have to see things for yourself. Just try and change that perspective and misconception.
But with the level of insecurity, changes in technology, I think we need to rejig the system.
Considering the common enemies facing the country, such as banditry, kidnapping, agitation for secession from some quarters, many believe that there is no better time for the youth to answer the clarion call as preached in the National Youth Service Corps scheme than now. In Abakaliki, Uchechkuchi Bezidam.
NTA News.
Although there are numerous Nigerian indigenous languages, it is worrisome that some of them are gradually going extinct. In fact, education say rejuvenating and preserving native dialects should be a priority, as it will also, to a large extent, promote cultural heritage of the country. Charity James reports.
Nigeria is a multilingual country with various ethnic groups. Research has shown that Nigeria has about 515 indigenous languages, although some of the languages have not been documented. Considering the enormous benefit of using indigenous languages, which outweigh any disadvantage of using the mother tongue, coupled with advancements in information and communication technology, how many can boast and speak the indigenous language frequently?
I can't speak it fluently.
I can speak my language, but not very well.
No, I cannot speak my language.
I can speak my dialect very, very well.
Considering the situation of the country's indigenous language, it is obvious that many Nigerian languages are highly endangered, while some are going extinct, with consequence being death of Nigerian culture and identity.
This is just a situation of macro ethnic nationalism and macro ethnic expansionism. So each one trying to develop so much that it eclipses the existence of the other.
Linguistic experts who blame this on some parents and schools who refuse to make indigenous languages their communication and learning tools advise Nigerians to make indigenous language their children's first language in families, while also using ICT that can enhance learning and preservation of indigenous languages.
Our native names are very meaningful, you understand? So we must try to give our children our own names. We must also try to teach them our language. Let them speak this language with us. Let them communicate with them in the local language.
Encourage people to pray to God in their languages.
Children learn more. They learn better through their own mother tongue.
Our indigenous languages are our pride. Speak it and harness it for promotion of Nigeria's culture and identity for development. In Uyo, Charity James, NTA News.
You said it all, Charity. Let's talk health now. It has been 40 years since the first reported case of HIV was diagnosed. Since then, researchers have been working on HIV and AIDS, all thanks to them. A positive HIV test no longer means a death sentence. Just as the world was grappling with one of the worst pandemics in human history, another pandemic came up with a far more devastating effect on the health system and healthcare delivery for HIV and other related illnesses. In a matter of months, scientists developed the COVID-19 vaccine, and this led to questions. Why 40 years on and there is no HIV vaccine? Basi Ita Ikwan, who is participating at the 11th HIV Scientific Conference from Nigeria, reports that researchers at the conference have answers for this and many more issues on HIV and AIDS intervention in the face of COVID-19.
COVID-19 is said to have posed innumerable health, economic and social challenges for all, including people living with HIV. Experts say it has exposed the fragility of health systems around the globe and has diverted political attention and funding from other infectious diseases like TB and HIV. Researchers at the 11th International IAS Conference on HIV Science, holding virtually from Berlin, discussed a tale of the two most recent pandemics in the world history.
We have new opportunities to adapt and enhance COVID-19 approaches and sustain global attention and commitment to prioritizing public health.
HIV cannot be compared to SARS-CoV-2 in structure and complexity. One point is clear. With political will, we can achieve more in the fight against HIV and AIDS.
The work that is put into, at this point, albeit as yet unsuccessful, in developing a successful HIV vaccine has really opened the door to a spectacularly successful set of COVID-19 vaccines. This is a very clear-cut example of decades of investment in research in HIV has played a major role in the success of the development of COVID-19 vaccines.
I sought to know Nigerian situation on some issues raised at the World HIV Conference.
Here in Nigeria, the two are helping each other. What I mean here is that what we were doing before COVID-19 is a multi-sectoral approach to control the HIV epidemic, which has been working. And when COVID-19 came in, we applied the same multi-sectoral approach to contain COVID-19. And I'm happy Nigeria is one of the best countries today that have done extremely well on COVID-19 and has done exceedingly well in the last 3 years on HIV.
On the newly researched long-lasting HIV preventive and treatment measures, the NACA boss has this to say.
Some people may like the injection because of its convenience, and before we make it available for people to use, we want to study available data. And this is what we are doing now. We're looking at available data that have been generated elsewhere to make sure these are safe.
It is a tale of two pandemics, experts say. One must not be forgotten for another. Basi Taikman, NTA News.
From health to sports, Egypt last week defeated Libya by a lone goal to win the second edition of the Africa Mini Football Tournament in Ilaji, Ibadan, Oyo State. Larry Belei reports on the growing acceptance of the new game in Nigeria.
Mini football has no doubt captured the fancy of spectators with its fast-paced, intense play. Its rules slightly different from the conventional football. It has become an attraction for football lovers. Many spectators say it's a sign that the game has a great future ahead. At the second edition of Africa Mini Football Nations Cup, they revealed that it has been an exciting game to watch and has surpassed their expectations.
A game where, you must be quick, you must be fast, and you must be brilliant.
You can play at anywhere, no offside. You can change players as much as many. The game is a very good game. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to participate.
It was over happiness from the Nigerian crowd, which I want to salute again. They are making this more footballistic, more fun and more enjoyable to everyone. Even referees in the backstages, they are telling me we are enjoying the games where Nigeria is playing.
There's a way this game is being played. So the technical aspect of it need to be really looked into to actually compete well at the global stage.
Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
And with sports update, we conclude news sector for tonight, and that's been the news served to you with the extra touch. As usual, don't forget to be a star with NTA as we wage war against rape and rapists. I am Fatima Maruba. Have a good night rest.
أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
Issues in the sports sector remain one of the most debated among Nigerians due to the passion, followership, government involvement, impact on Nigeria's external image and our national life in the sports parliament. The NTA offers Nigerians deep views on issues with experts in the sports sector, offering in-depth analysis, hindsight, insight and foresight towards elevating Nigerian sports to the zenith on the floor of the sports parliament. Sports Parliament, a unique platform for sports discussions, showing live on the NTA. Keep a date with the parliamentarians.
Your eyes have it.
This is the network service of the NTA.
The need for sustainable wealth creation, especially in a country with over 200 million people like we do in Nigeria, is very important to sustaining our economy. We all know that, yes, the world economy has been observing some ups and downs, but the federal government has done so much to ensure that wealth is created and people are empowered in one way or the other, from the low to the medium and to the high-end earners. In doing all of this, the federal government of Nigeria can be commended. Now, this will be our focus today on Executive Discuss, as I welcome you to another lovely time. My name is Ololade Adinijadele. Of course, Executive Discuss comes to you on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. As it's our style, what we do is seek out trailblazers in their various chosen fields, people who are retaining the name of Nigeria and the map of Nigeria on the world stage. And today I have somebody that we're bringing to you from the world of business, from the world of banking. He is a seasoned banker and he has operated at the highest level, talking about the Central Bank of Nigeria. Today, he has been asked to man the affairs of an organization that is seeing to proper and accurate wealth distribution, especially amongst the low-end earners. Please join me as we welcome on Executive Discuss the Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of Nersal Microfinance Bank in person of Mr. Abubakar Abdul Kadir Kure. How are you, sir?
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be with you.
It's a pleasure to meet you too.
Yeah.
So for the purpose of our viewers, could you please take us through your story? Where you were born, what schools you attended, and your early years, how you got to where you are today?
Okay, thank you so much. I'd like to first of all thank my parents for grooming me, to instill discipline in me, and to provide the drive to move forward in my career. I was actually born in Lapai, local government of Niger State. From there, I went to secondary school in Sokoto, which they call Capital School then. Probably the name will have been changed now. Thereafter, I went to Government College Bida, and thereafter, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, where I did my first degree and second degree. And then, in 1991, I joined Central Bank of Nigeria after my youth corps.
And
it's a long journey.
Yes, I know.
After 30 years in the service of the bank with determination, discipline, and accountability, I rose to a director. It's not an easy journey, especially when you're in Central Bank, where you have a house of money, where you have stakeholders looking at what you do, what you don't do, where you are the monetary authority of the country that drive financial stability, price stability, exchange stability, interest rate stability. So I've been involved in various roles, and I thank God somehow my efforts have been rewarded. That's what brought me to where I am today. The management of the bank felt they needed somebody who would be here, and they sat down and I said, okay, I should be here. And I think I made an impact. But largely, I think the drive and determination is the part of the success story, and also the discipline. For you to hold this type of organizations, you need to have discipline, because you are dealing with both private sector funds and public sector funds. Private sector funds coming from Bankers Committee, public sector funds coming from CBN. So for you to manage it well, for you to provide direction, transparent accountability, you actually need discipline. And I think I got some of it from my grandfather, who actually I grew up with.
Okay.
And I cherish my name. Integrity is the key. Wherever you are managing bank, integrity, especially where public funds are involved, you need to show example to ensure that the place is managed very well.
All right. So your early years, yes, between Niger State and then, of course, Sokoto State and all that. Now, one thing just comes to my mind. Why banking?
I wouldn't. My course I read. Probably,
what did you study?
I studied business administration.
Okay, business administration. Yeah. Maybe we should start from there first. Why business administration?
Yeah, because I felt I can manage businesses well. It can equip me to be independent. No, they are not necessarily working for public sector. You can be in private sector if you are equipped with the skills around entrepreneurship, financial literacy, how to manage money. So business administration equip you to be able to manage businesses. And I felt beyond the fact that central bank is not necessarily like a business enterprise, but it also has concern around SME, economy improving around private sector. So that's equipped me. And I felt businesses, you can be independent, and more importantly, I want to be comfortable. And if you look at Nigeria today, people believe that public sector, that's where the money is, but that is not necessarily true. And this public sector is becoming shrinking in terms of resources. Okay. Because accountability is increasing, probity is increasing, EFCs are there, ICPs are there, Code of Conduct are there. So if you look at the private sector, is the way to go. In developed countries, you don't make money in public sector. You make money in private sector. So my conception was I actually wanted to go into business. But by accident, I found myself in Central Bank. Again, Central Bank has equipped me to be able to manage money, to be able to manage myself, and even exposed me to how to manage various stakeholders in the value chain.
Wow, that's interesting. I know that part of your achievements at the central bank is the delivery of the Treasury single account.
Yeah.
But I also know that you must also be aware that there are some Nigerians who really do not understand what exactly we mean by the Treasury single account.
Yeah.
So can you quickly take us through this so that we don't lose our audience and they understand the concept of everything we're talking about here?
Okay, Treasury single account just means that you should connect your accounts to be in one place, so that at the end of every day, you should be able to have a consolidated balance to say Nigeria has cash holding of, say, 2 trillion, 5 trillion, 4 trillion. At the touch of a button, you should be able to know that. Because before then, what is happening is that government have scattered funds across all commercial banks.
Okay.
And governments at the other end borrowing from the public, from external, to fund its developmental efforts. So you find that government has idle cash balances, and at the end of it, it's also borrowing. But in treasury accounts, the government through the central bank, because it's what has the central bank, and it's deliberate because it has to be central, because central bank has a more going concern factor than other commercial banks. Commercial bank can fail. So there's a safety net in central bank. So at any point in time, the government can be, this is my treasury, this is my cash balances. So the idea about treasury is to efficiently and effectively manage cash balances, so that government can provide developmental role based on available resources. So in doing that, you can do your reconciliation, you can do your payment system, you can be able to say, I need to borrow if there is shortage quickly.
Or I have a surplus.
Or I have a surplus, I need to invest quickly. But if you are scattered, if you have accounts scattered across all banks, you can't do that. You can't have consolidation balance. So surpluses are invested, shortages are quickly reimbursed. And you can be able to also borrow at a more effective rate, because by the time you are borrowing, that means that all cash balance will have finished. But before you have it scattered, so the one that you have in central bank is the one that you only know. Those are other commercial banks, you are not aware. So, and also the best practice says even the government should get interest from central bank. In other words, government should be able to get interest from central bank, because the government is keeping its money there.
Okay, so the central bank pay
interest? No, currently, if you are in the news, you will have seen a lot of money borrowed from central bank already. So the issue of paying is no longer there, because you can only pay when you have credit balances. But most importantly is that the government is doing effective cash management under treasury account, and all the leakages. Probably there have been significant leakages from brokerage, for people looting government money, and all those leakages have been blocked. And it's also challenging running treasury just like this place. We thank God we're able to do it without any significant risks in terms of fraud, money being diverted. But I must tell you it's challenging, because at that time you are dealing with several MDAs who also are not willing to enroll into the scheme. Until Mr. President gave a directive, there was a presidential pronouncement that gave us backing. The MDAs, the ministries are reluctant. They don't want treasury account because there are a lot of leakages here and there. But with the presidential backing, it came in, and deliberately they started to cause problems because they are not ready and they are unwilling to engage into the scheme. But we try to make it more friendlier, more efficient, more effective. So people now begin to see the benefits. That, okay, your money is not being disallowed from spending. Initially, they thought, okay, if you put their money in one treasury, how would they know what is in each person's bucket?
Okay.
But we have a ledger, so that whatever goes to that bucket, we will know the component of that bucket. So that each minister can say, this is my component, this is my, what I'm entitled to.
At any single time, you know, this is X amount of naira that you have.
Exactly.
And you can
so
work with
that confidence begins to build. And now it's a success story. And I can tell you that TSA, the amount of money federal government will have borrowed will have been more. Because one, government will not know its cash position at any point in time. And significant leakages that will have happened will have been more. So we thank God. It's challenges, I've said, but
yeah, because I was going to come to the
success
challenges. I mean, change is not something that people are easily willing to adapt to, especially when they sense either by omission or commission some measure of negativity and maybe something it's not going to be in their favor.
Yeah.
So you must have encountered quite a lot of challenges, both personally and institutionally.
That is very correct. We had to have seminars and a workshop. In that seminar, a lot of us were being criticized that it will not work. But I told them that if it's working in other countries, it will work here.